You're not gonna get it started that way.
Well, I'm just getting...
What's up, rock and rollers? Today we are going to be talking about something near and dear to me. A rumor that has something to do with my childhood that I hope is true. What am I talking about exactly? Well, let's dive right into it. This past summer, the news broke that Michael Bay is returning to the Transformers franchise. At first, it was reported by smaller outlets, so most people took it with a grain of salt, but a few weeks later in August, it was revealed by Deadline that Bay is in fact returning to some capacity. Now, nobody knows much of anything really. We don't know if he's directing, if he's writing, or just producing like he has been. It's all up in the air currently. Other outlets reported that Bay himself brought this idea to Paramount with hopes to direct, with Jordan Van Dina writing the project. The other question we don't know is if this is a reboot or not. Will this be a continuation of the Bayverse as a sequel to The Last Night? Is it a continuation of Rise of the Beast, or a whole new timeline with a fresh reboot? We still don't know. Just to give my quick thoughts on my relationship with the Transformer films, I grew up with them. And I love all 5 Michael Bay ones, with Dark of the Moon probably being my favorite. The first film is the first film I ever saw in theaters in 2007 when I was 7 years old. So yeah, nobody's gonna make me hate these movies. Are they necessarily good? Debatable, not really. But I don't care. I still love them, each and every single one. Yes, Revenge of the Fallen, Age of Extinction, they all got problems, and I cherish them all with everything. Yes, even The Last Night, that fucking schizophrenic movie. Bumblebee I thought was very good, and it set a good foundation as to where the franchise could go. Sadly, they did not follow up on that. Rise of the Beast I absolutely hate. It's one of the few films I outright hate. I hate everything about it. It can burn in hell. Transformers 1 was an awesome Transformers movie that deserved more love. Too bad the marketing absolutely butchered any potential it had at the box office. With that out of the way, back to the main story. This past weekend, we may have gotten a huge clue as to the answer of that reboot question. Over this past weekend, Shia LaBeouf was at Steel City Con and posted these photos with the caption, "Roll Out." The photos are a selfie of him watching a discussion with Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, the original voices of Optimus and Megatron, with the second photo being of Shia and Peter. First of all, how cool and heartwarming is it to see Shia and Peter together? This is my childhood in a photo, these two together. So wholesome. These photos alone already spark speculation as to if Shia is returning or not. Many shrugged it off as just an actor having fun with fans, being a nice guy, but apparently there was a comment Shia made to a fan that sparked even more speculation. Now this is not confirmed by any means, nothing is official, okay? I don't know if this is real or not, I just saw it on Twitter, but it lines up with Shia being at the con. So apparently, Shia teased to a fan that he is indeed working on coming back.
Don't
what?
Don't give me hope.
This is what the comment said. So the first paragraph just says what I just said about nothing being official, don't get too excited, yada yada. The second paragraph is where things get interesting. According to this guy, he approached Shia and said, keep making awesome movies, as in, being an awesome actor, being in good movies. And Shia replied, you mean more of these? And pointed at the guy's shirt who was wearing a Transformers shirt. The guy replied, wait, this franchise? You're coming back? And Shia replied, I'm working on it. Shia is not the only one who has teased or talked about coming back. A few months ago, Tyrese, who was in the first 3 films with Shia, teased that he had a phone call with Bay about returning to the franchise. Sorry about the quality of this video, it's just the one I found, but here's a video of Tyrese teasing it.
Michael Bay is supposed to come back and do Transformers. Would you step back into that world?
I was just on the phone with Michael Bay last week, so that's all I can tell you.
Something happening. That means something happening. We
The Strangers.
Josh Duhamel, who played Lennox in the first 3 and The Last Night, also expressed interest in coming back a few months ago. In this interview with The Direct asked, recently it was reported that Michael Bay is looking to return to the Transformers franchise. I was just curious, have you heard anything about that from him? And is that something you would be open to returning to that franchise? Duhamel replied, I have not heard that, but yeah, why not? Michael Bay is such a talented dude. I really loved working with him. We did 4 of those movies. 1, I did 1, 2, 3, and 5. I shot up that, you know? I started as like a cadet and ended up like a lieutenant colonel or something. So who knows? Would I be a general at this point? I've definitely graded into the spot. Yeah, I'd love to do it. So that's 3 of the original trilogy cast members who have spoken about wanting to return or have teased a return. Could Megan Fox and John Turturro be next? I know Megan had that falling out with Bay, which resulted in her getting fired and replaced in Dark of the Moon, but it seems they made up as Bay produced the 2 Ninja Turtle movies Megan was in, so she could be on the radar to return as well. John Turturro, I hope, comes back, and I think if he's asked, he would. He seems to really like making these movies and even appeared in The Last Night for a brief couple of scenes. I think he has a high probability of coming back as well. And you can't forget about Mark Wahlberg from 4 and 5, bring him in too. He's too big of a character to ignore since he was the main lead in those films, and has even met Duhamel's Lennox in number 5, so there's already a connection there. I mean, just look at this. Picture these 6 characters being the core human cast we have to get together. You know, bring the whole squad back and unite them one last time to save Earth. Oh man, just like looking at all these guys together, this is too peak. This might be, I don't know if I can handle this honestly if this happens. Oh, this would be so cool. This is my childhood right here. At the very least, have Sam and Cade meet, the 2 main leads from the franchise getting together. That would be so sick. Imagine them and Optimus having scenes together, with them being Optimus's 2 closest human allies. That would be so awesome for fans to see. One character missing about coming back is Carly from Dark of the Moon, which, let's be honest, she's basically just Michaela from the first 2 films with a different look and name. You could bring her back, since the last time we saw her and Sam were together and walked away from everything after the Battle of Chicago. You could write something like that, or maybe not. You could write something like, since it's been so long, her and Sam broke up off screen and he's alone now, kind of like what they did with Michaela in number 3. And the events of this new Michael Bay movie is what brings Sam and Michaela back together. Or it could be Megan says no to coming back and you can just use Carly. Obviously, if Rosie says yes as well, maybe she doesn't want to come back, who knows. It doesn't matter to me either way. I never hated Carly as character like some people did, and I wouldn't mind seeing her come back, but I think Megan coming back would fit a bit better. Let's say for speculation that all this is true and the main OG cast is coming back to team up with Wahlberg. What's the plot? I would like to see one last movie that continues where The Last Night left off and cap off the Bayverse once and for all in a true finale. Where the Bayverse left off is that we found out Unicron is actually Earth and is slowly awakening from the inside. Quintessa, who is one of the creators of the Transformers, wants to awaken him and even had a human form as seen in the last scene of The Last Night. That could be the plot. Unicron is awakening and the humans and the Autobots have to get together to stop him and Quintessa. You have the cast from the first trilogy, then you have Wahlberg, hell, throw the Dinobots in there and have that dragon from The Last Night appear as well. It is Unicron after all, a world-ending threat, it's all hands on deck, everybody has to join the fight, one last final battle. That would be so awesome. I would be so down for that. As to how Sam would come back, there's many ways you could do it. There's a great video by Saj Productions where he talks about how since in The Last Night it's revealed that Sam is a descendant of a secret society known as the Wiccans, who have known about Transformers for centuries. That could be how Sam ties into it. Maybe his bloodline is the only thing that could stop Unicron from coming alive or something like that. Like I keep mentioning, guys, nothing is confirmed at this moment, other than the fact that Bay is returning for a new movie in some capacity. All of this is speculation and theory, but if you stop and think about it, it makes sense that Bay would return to direct, and even some of the original cast members returning as well. It's no secret that the Transformers franchise is at a bit of a low point. Just look at the box office for each movie post-Bay. Bumblebee made $467 million total, Rise of the Beast made $441 million globally, and Transformers 1 sadly only made abysmal $128 million worldwide. God, that movie deserved better. The last 2 Transformer movies combined made less than the last Bay film, which was The Last Night, which made $605 million worldwide. Paramount needs to do something. I know they have other films in the works, but it's so hard to keep track of what's going on. Apparently there's talks of a sequel to Rise of the Beast, there's talks of a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover which they've been talking about for years, and apparently Chris Hemsworth even signed on to star in it in 2024, so who knows what's happening there? They seriously just need to drop G.I. Joe. There's only a handful of G.I. Joe fans in the world, and they're all boomers, and they're not going to be around much longer. There's no sequel to Transformers 1, sadly, which is hugely disappointing, but apparently the director Josh Cooley is making a live-action film, and then you have the new Bay film on top of all this.
And I'm sitting there like going, what?
Paramount needs to get their shit together. This timeline is hella confusing. They're just throwing whatever they got at the wall and seeing what sticks. This is exactly what Warner Brothers was doing with DC before James Gunn came in and rebooted the whole thing. That might be what Paramount has to do at this point. There's too many different films and timelines going on. My opinion is that they bring Bay back to do one final film to cap off his, set of movies and his Bayverse in general, and then have that film end in some sort of reboot time travel thing, which is not new for Transformers, and have that new rebooted stuff be your new universe. It's that simple, but apparently a huge legacy studio with millions of dollars can't figure that out. I truly believe with all this wave of nostalgia that's been happening over the recent years with actors coming back to their old roles and franchises, that if Transformers did the same thing with Bay and Shia, it could easily work. The perception of the Bay films certainly has changed in recent years with more and more people coming out to defend them, probably because people who grew up with those movies, like myself, are the ones making videos now and are keeping the conversation going. Bottom line is that Paramount needs to do something, otherwise they're going to keep losing money and running the brand into the ground. Bay and Shia coming back might just be the one thing that can save this franchise.